Newsfirst at 9.
The Western and Southern Provincial Council polls was held today. I'm Katharina Chang reporting from Colombo.
I'm Florin Rajendran reporting from the Gampa district.
Reporting to you from the Government Information Department once again, I'm Shane Silva for Newsfirst.
I'm Nicola D'Souza from the Newsfirst election desk. Join us for a comprehensive report on today's poll.
And I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka at the Newsfirst Centre in Colombo. A very good evening to all of you and welcome. We now take a look at your headlines with Joel Outscone.
Election Secretariat says voting for the Western and Southern Provincial Council polls were peaceful. First results expected at 10. The police will respond appropriately to the Geneva resolution. A statement from the President. Sarath Fonseca comments on his civic rights. US expresses disappointment over India's abstention at the UNRC. Fire rages at the Undergal Reserve in Kurunegala. Air Force called in to contain the blaze.
Well, after more than a month and a half of frantic campaigning and last-minute canvassing for votes, voting for the Western and Southern Provincial Council elections concluded at 4 o'clock this evening. Nicola D'Souza joins us now from the Newsfirst election desk with a comprehensive report on polling today and the latest in the counting process. Nicola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Arundhati. Welcome to the Newsfirst election desk. Now, the Election Secretariat believes that it will be able to release the first results of the polls by 10 p.m, less than an hour from now. The results will be announced at the electorate and district level. Newsfirst has made all preparations to bring you the election results first and fast through our election broadcast live from the Government Information Department. Now, let's quickly cross over to Shane Silva, who is at the Government Information Department, for an update on the arrangements over there. Shane?
I'm coming to you live from the Government Information Department, where, as you can see, we have set up all systems in place to provide you with the results of the recent Western and Southern Provincial Council elections first and fast via our media networks forming part of the MTV MBC media network. Now, as you can see, there are 3 panels here, which means that we'll be bringing you the results in all 3 languages as and when they are released by the Government Information Department. Stay tuned to Newsfirst as we provide you with these results first and fast. I'm Shane Silva, reporting from the Government Information Department.
Thank you, Shane. Now moving on to some election-related news. Additional Elections Commissioner RML Ratnaika says that voting today was peaceful. Speaking to Newsfirst, he says that the first results could be announced by midnight.
Voting today was peaceful. There were no notable problematic situations that were reported. There were no incidents that disrupted the voting process. The counting of postal votes is already underway. Following the counting of votes, we hope to announce the first result by around midnight. We especially wish to request candidates and their campaigners not to loiter at counting centres, and if candidates have been authorised to visit their respective counting centres, that they do so non-intrusively, and for the others to remain at their homes and prepare to witness the results as they are announced.
Now, voting for the Western and Southern Provincial Council elections, which was conducted at 4,253 polling stations in both provinces, concluded at 4 o'clock this evening. The counting of votes is now well underway.
Votes are being counted at 608 halls in 14 counting centres located in the Western and Southern provinces. Our reporters say that the ballot boxes were transported from the polling stations to the counting centres amid tight security. The counting of votes in the Colombo district is taking place at counting centres at Royal College, D.S. Senanayaka College and Isipatana College, Colombo.
I'm standing opposite one of the main counting centres in the Colombo district, which is D.S. Senanayaka College in Colombo 7, where the votes will be counted to select 40 provincial councillors out of 1,247 candidates who contested for the Colombo district. Now, the first round of results will be released at 10 p.m, which are that of the registered postal votes.
Provincial Council polls commenced as of 7 a.m. this morning, and I'm currently standing at the Wayangoda Counting Centre, which is the main counting centre in the Gampa district. And security has been beefed up in the area to the level we can't even enter into the counting centre.
Votes are being counted in the Kaluthara district at the counting centres located at the Pastun Rota Education Science Faculty and Tissa Central College, Kaluthara. Following the conclusion of voting at 4 o'clock this evening, ballot boxes containing the ballots to elect 53 councillors to the Southern Provincial Council were transported to the counting centres. 2 counting centres have been established in the Mathura district at Rohana College, Mathura and the Madavatta Technical College.
Voting concluded peacefully today at 4 o'clock this evening. By 4:30 this evening, the counting of postal votes commenced at Rohana College, Mathura. I can say that as a whole, voter turnout in the district was over 50%.
Ballot boxes in the Galle district were brought to the counting centres at Southland Girls School and the Kaluwella Technical College following the conclusion of voting today. Votes will be counted at 80 halls within both colleges. Votes are being counted in the Hambantota district at the voting centre located at Suchi National School. Ballot boxes were brought to the counting centre after the conclusion of voting today.
The ballot boxes from all the 410 polling centres have been brought to the Sushi National School, which is behind me, for counting. The counting of postal and general votes has already started at 46 counting stations. And the first postal vote result is expected to be released before midnight today. And the election was conducted very peacefully and in a calm manner in general amid tight security. This is Mithudam De Silva reporting from Hambantota for Newsfirst.
Now, 3,794 candidates contested the 155 seats available for the Western and Southern Provincial Council polls today. 5,890,428 citizens were eligible to vote at today's elections. 4,253 polling stations in the 6 districts in both provinces were open from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
4,024,624 people were registered to vote from the Colombo, Gampaha and Kaluthara district today to elect the 102 councillors to the Western Provincial Council. 2,743 candidates contested the election from these 3 districts. While 40 councillors are to be elected from the Colombo district, 1,247 candidates from 18 registered political parties and 11 independent groups contested the election from the Colombo district. There were 1,552,734 registered voters in the district. 159,076 citizens were registered to vote to elect 40 councillors to the Western Provincial Council from the Gampaha district. 946 candidates contested the election from the district from 13 registered political parties and 9 independent groups. 550 candidates contested the Western Provincial Council election from the Kaluthara district from 13 registered political parties and 9 independent groups. 881,814 citizens were registered to vote to elect 22 councillors from the district. 1,873,804 people were registered to vote to elect 53 councillors of the Southern Provincial Council from the Galle, Mathura and Hambantota districts. 1,051 candidates from all 3 districts contested the Southern Provincial Council poll. 809,882 voters were registered in the Galle district to elect 22 councillors. 450 candidates from 14 registered political parties and 4 independent groups contested for the 22 seats in the council. 380 candidates from 14 registered political parties and 5 independent groups contested the Southern Provincial Council election from the Mathura district. 608,524 people were registered to vote from the district to elect 17 councillors. 221 candidates are contesting the Southern Provincial Council poll from 9 registered political parties and 4 independent groups from the Hambantota district. 455,398 voters are registered to vote to elect 14 councillors from the district. The police said that a special security plan involving 26,000 police officers was implemented today in both provinces in view of the elections.
Now, still in election-related news, President Mahinda Rajapaksa cast his ballot today at the polling station at DA Mahavidyalaya in Madamulana.
The president arrived at the polling station to cast his ballot this morning, accompanied by his family. The president expressed these views to the media after exercising his franchise. The vote is very clear. The people of this country have a good understanding of democracy in this country. The people of this country are learned people. They are learned and intelligent. Thereby they are people that will never betray their motherland, their country. The alliance will definitely secure a major victory. The decision in Geneva was a decision taken by a group of European countries. The decision is being made for the country, the people of this country. The people of this country will give the appropriate response.
Meanwhile, Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca says that the Department of Elections has accepted that his civil rights have not been withdrawn constitutionally. He made these remarks after exercising his franchise in Piliyandala today.
Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca cast his ballot today at the polling station at Samanasara Mahavidyalaya in Batakattara, Piliyandala today. I came to this polling session today and cast my valuable vote for the Democratic Party for the first time. Through this, I have shown all the people in this country who appreciate democracy that my civil rights have not been withdrawn. The Elections Commissioner and the Elections Department have accepted today that constitutionally my civil rights are intact. For the first time in my life, I went to the enclosure and marked my ballot. Although I have cast my ballot through postal voting in the past, I have not come to a polling station and cast my ballot. I did not think that one day, by the will of the gods, I would come to a polling station, enter the enclosure and cast my ballot as the leader of the Democratic Party founded by me. This is a special occasion today.
Now, Newsfirst's cameras captured the manner in which public representatives, including ministers, parliamentarians and other VIPs, exercised their franchise at their respective polling stations today. Let's have a look. The police say that 18 arrests were made during the course of today in relation to violations of election laws. The police media spokesperson said that 2 persons were arrested yesterday in an incident in Mathura, where an assistant elections commissioner was allegedly assaulted. The police received 15 complaints today pertaining to election law violations. Meanwhile, the Election Secretariat says that it received 88 complaints today regarding various incidents of violations of election laws. The National Complaints Inquiry Centre at the Election Secretariat said 32 of these complaints were lodged from the Gampar district. The Secretariat added that it received 20 complaints from Colombo, 11 complaints from Kaluthara, 13 complaints from Gaul, 9 complaints from Mathura and 3 complaints from Hambantota. Well, that's it from the Newsfirst election desk for now. Arundhati, over to you.
Well, thank you, Nicola. Well, as you can see, Newsfirst is all geared up to give you the election results as and when they are announced, first and fast. Stay connected. Stay with Newsfirst. Welcome back to the news, and taking a look at a developing story for tonight. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights says that she will seek the cooperation of Sri Lankan authorities to conduct the investigation that she has been entrusted with through the resolution on Sri Lanka adopted at the UN Human Rights Council. Now, speaking to Qatar-based news network Al Jazeera, Navi Pillay also said that there is political will in Sri Lanka to address the situation.
When a government fails to protect its own citizens, then it's a responsibility of the international community to do so. That's the international law. The Human Rights Council, it's not here to apply political pressure. In this case, the Human Rights Council and the United Nations, the Secretary General, waited almost 5 years for Sri Lanka to take internal action, hold an investigation and render justice for victims. Well, I am now entrusted to be in charge of the investigation, and I will definitely seek the cooperation of the Sri Lankan government. They were very good during my visit to Sri Lanka. There is political will there to address the situation. They just want us, the world, to recognize how much they have done, and they have, in terms of reconstruction, disarmament, and removing the internally displaced people. I'm going to seek their cooperation for justice and accountability, and on the part of both sides. Victims of LTTE are also waiting for justice.
The US-sponsored resolution was passed at the United Nations Human Rights Council with 23 votes in favour and 12 against and 12 abstentions. India, which voted in favour of the resolution during the 22nd session of the UNHRC, abstained from voting this time around. The Indian abstention was a concern that was raised at the US Daily Press briefing.
For the first time, this resolution requests a comprehensive investigation to be undertaken by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights into alleged violations and abuses of human rights and related crimes committed in Sri Lanka during the period covered by the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission report, which is 2002 to 2009. It is disappointing to us that India abstained from voting on this resolution when they voted yes for the last 2 years. We have made our disappointment known to Indian officials. Beyond that, I'd refer you to them in terms of how they voted.
Mohan Samranayake is a presidential spokesperson. Speaking to Al Jazeera recently, he said that India's decision to abstain from voting on the resolution proves that the resolution was politically motivated.
Sri Lanka has been stating at various fora, including the current Human Rights Council session, that this is not about human rights. This is a politically motivated, biased and unjust interference, infringement on the sovereignty of Sri Lanka. India's abstention proves my earlier point. India has said, according to what I know as of now, that this process is inconsistent with the UN Human Rights Council principles. It proves that this is politically motivated. That is how we see it.
Also in local news, 3 persons were killed and 9 others were injured in an accident last night in the Mahahena area in Warakabala on the Colombo-Kandy main road. The police said that the accident took place at around 9:10 last night.
The accident was a result of a collision between a luxury private bus and a tipper. The police said that a tipper flying from Kandy to Colombo collided onto a luxury private bus heading to Colombo. The driver of the tipper, the driver of the bus and a passenger were killed in the accident. The driver of the tipper has been identified as 17-year-old Kasun Premasiri, while the driver of the bus, who was also killed in the accident, has been identified as 40-year-old Kamal Samaravira. The other victim of the accident was 46-year-old Dinesh Anurabandara from Teldenia. 3 of the injured persons have been admitted to the Varakapola Base Hospital, while the remaining 6 injured persons were admitted to the Kegol Base Hospital.
Meanwhile, an accident took place in Dambulla this afternoon. A mother and her child who sustained injuries have been admitted to the Dambulla Base Hospital. The police stated that the accident was a result of a collision involving a private bus and a motorcycle.
According to the police, the motorcycle attempted to overtake the private bus which was travelling to Colombo from Polonnaruwa. The accident occurred when the motorbike collided with the bus when overtaking. The driver of the bus has been arrested.
Firefighters are battling a fire that is spreading rapidly in the Andagala Reserve in Kurunegala after it ignited this afternoon. Our correspondent stated that the assistance of the Air Force has been sought to help douse the blaze.
Residents in the area say that hundreds of acres of land in the Andagala Reserve in Kurunegala have now been destroyed as a result of the fire. Our correspondent says that the fire is spreading towards the Andagala Mahavihara because the fire could not be contained. The correspondent further stated that firefighters along with residents and soldiers from the Wehera Army camp are trying to douse the fire to prevent it from spreading towards the residential area. The cause of the fire has not yet been ascertained. Meanwhile, another fire has broken out near the Janakala Centre in Kurunegala. Our correspondent stated that the fire was successfully contained by the fire brigade of the Kurunegala Municipal Council.
Today marks day 3 of Around the World in 40 Days, a 40-day world tour organised by Newsfirst and Sri Lanka Youth, parallel to the World Youth Conference that will be held in Sri Lanka this year.
Around the World in 40 Days.
The Sri Lankan delegation who embarked on this goodwill tour for Colombo 3 days ago arrived in Indonesia today via Malaysia and Singapore. The delegation received a warm reception at the Sri Lankan embassy in Jakarta at an event held under the auspices of the acting ambassador Lalit Yugamage. The Newsfirst team in Indonesia said the delegation met with representatives of the Indonesian Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. A group including the president of the Indonesia Student and Youth Conference, Afaji Kurniawan, were present at the occasion.
I'm very happy to hear that the Sri Lankan will be the host to facilitate the awesome youth around the globe together.
The Sri Lanka delegation will spend another day in Indonesia before embarking on the next leg of their goodwill journey across the globe.
Moving on to news overseas now, a Chinese ship is scoring a new search area of the Indian Ocean in the hunt for the missing Malaysia Airlines jet. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority says the vessel is at the scene to try to retrieve a number of items spotted yesterday.
Chinese aircraft are also flying over the area northeast of the previous zone and have spotted more objects. The Beijing-bound airliner disappeared on the 8th of March with 239 people on board. Yesterday, 5 search planes spotted multiple objects of various colors in the new zone about 1,100 kilometers northeast of the previous search area. A Royal New Zealand Air Force Orion first spotted a number of objects white or light in color and a fishing buoy. Investigators will not know whether the objects are connected to the missing plane until they have been recovered by ships.
Moving on to sports news now, New Zealand secured their second victory at the ICC World T20 in Bangladesh today with a comfortable 7-wicket win over the Netherlands. The Black Caps won the toss at Chittagong today and invited the Dutch to take first lease of the wicket. The Netherlands succeeded in batting out their allotted 20 overs, losing only 4 wickets and posting a total of 151. Dutch skipper Peter Boren scored a rapid-fire 49 of 35 deliveries. Tom Cooper was also exemplary with the bat and remained unbeaten on 40 of 23 deliveries. The Black Caps reached the target of 152 in 19 overs, losing 4 wickets. Skipper Brandon McCullum, fiery half-century, also took him past the 2,000 T20 runs mark. McCullum scored 65 of 45 deliveries.
Dancing shoes on. This one's out of the script. Hustle for 2.
The 11th round trials for Super Fighter, Sri Lanka's first reality sports TV program, which aims to catapult local boxing talent onto the national and international arena, commenced successfully in Trincomalee.
Super Fighter. First MTV NBC Media Network and MAS Holdings. The program today commenced with the participation of almost 500 aspiring boxers with the intention of choosing talented amateur boxers from Trincomalee. A group of aspiring boxers from the Polonnaru district also participated at the event. A training camp was also held today to prepare the contenders for the main trials tomorrow. The trials are held under 4 weight categories, and the individuals who will be competing in tomorrow's events were chosen today. Furthermore, national coaches and sportsmen educated the aspiring boxers who participated at such an event for the first time.
Super Fighter.
Well, that's a wrap from the Newsfirst team for tonight, but be sure to join us on Newsfirst First and Fast special election coverage, which will bring you the latest election results. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Good night.
Hotline 0114 896 896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.